Take 666. Hello and welcome back to the only BBC you're ever going to need. It's the Blackford Book Club, and I'm still here in the corner of my room, still showing my self-published book from April of this year, like a magician's assistant, from last year's FIFA World Cup. And we've reached page 18, day 3, which was also the 22nd of November, and the banner headline is Saudi Arabia shake up the world, holders skip past the Socceroos. Argentina 1, Saudi Arabia 2. From time immemorial, or since 1930 if you prefer, the World Cup has been synonymous with the magical and mystical of a shock victory for a rank underdog. But some shocks are so seismic that they are held up at every tournament since they shook the world as a shining example that every underdog can have its day, and David does occasionally slay Goliath. The two most uniformly rolled out examples would be the humiliating 1-0 defeat meted out to England by a still fledgling USA football team in 1950, and 40 years later the bruising and chaotic 1-0 defeat of the reigning champions Argentina by those beautiful upstarts from Cameroon. North Korea beat the might of Italy in the 1966 World Cup, whilst their southern neighbours did the same to shake up the world and the World Cup of 2002. But today's hard-fought, hard-won and thoroughly deserved 2-1 victory for Saudi Arabia over the might of Argentina could arguably be described as the greatest all-time shock in World Cup history. That is for the future. Hopefully another shock will come along and usurp even today's magnificent achievement. We'd certainly have a tournament on our hands then. Sure, Lady Luck carried Saudi Arabia through a sticky first half, but, and this is a very big but, they were organised, tenacious, physical, and even at 1-0 down at half-time, they were still in the game. Arguably again, this newly installed greatest shock in World Cup history shouldn't have come anywhere near realisation, as in addition to Lionel Messi's 10th minute penalty, he also scored another soon after, so too his attacking partner Martinez, who scored twice, yet all 3 goals were ruled out for offside, and twice via the dreaded eye in the sky, VAR killjoy. So the underdogs were a tad unlucky to still be in the game, but they deserved to be, and, crucially, despite the evidence noted above, Argentina weren't playing all that well. The 5 minutes that shook the world today were set against a cacophonous din from the hordes of travelling fans from Saudi Arabia. It was a real throwback to World Cups of old, and that constant barrage of noise, songs, air horns and the drums associated with Argentina in 1978 or Mexico in 1986. I don't make these comparisons lightly either, and nor am I lazily linking an Argentinian defeat today to their 2 world champion victories of the past, and nor am I saying that today's defeat means they are out of the tournament. They are not. But Argentina weren't impressive at all. Saudi Arabia matched them all over the field, were more physical and quicker to loose second balls, and they repelled everything the highly favoured Argentina team, Lionel Messi and all, could throw at them. This win for the ages was followed by 2 0-0 draws and games I didn't watch, and for which I have no opinion other than by the very nature of there being 0 goals in either game. I clearly dodged a sporting bullet. More important matters were at hand, as I had the company of my beautiful son, and as he's the reason for my reporting on France at this particular World Cup, it seems rather apt to conclude with their game today against the brilliantly named Socceroos of Australia. My reason for reporting on France and following even Les Bleus, or their victors all the way through to the final in December, is covered in my original introduction, as is my player watch of Liverpool and France central defender Ibrahima Konate. My son picked a random number. That random number was represented by France. I'm missing writing about my beloved Reds of Liverpool, and whilst I'm reporting on France, I am to keep a keen eye on the man mountain that is the Paris-born central defender. Konate was the footballing vernacular of the spare man in France's defence this evening, as without a sustained attacking threat from Australia, he was often left carefree to ping cross-field balls in the direction of Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe, both of whom had very impressive evenings and were the thrust of the interchanging wide attacks from a France team stung into action by the stirrings of the day's second possible major World Cup upset and a brilliant opening goal from Craig Goodwin on 9 minutes that led to 20 minutes of dreamland for the Socceroos. A heavy underdog against the reigning champions, Australia were worthy of their slender 1-0 lead and could have added a second to the scoreline had Mitchell Duke's fizzing long-range shot on 20 minutes crept a couple of inches to the left and inside the far post of the France goal guarded by veteran Hugo Lloris. He was beaten, and had Duke's shot flown in for a shock 2-0 lead, we may have been on course to break the greatest shock in World Cup history just set hours earlier by Saudi Arabia. But Duke's shot scorched inches wide and France aren't Argentina. The defending champions, minus Paul Pogba and Karim Benzema, and possibly a long-term injury this evening for their left-sided central defender Lucas Hernandez, still look a slick machine intent on defending their title. Olivier Giroud is no Karim Benzema, but he scored twice and led the attacking line like the pest he's always been, and Kylian Mbappe has scored his first goal of the tournament in an impressive overall performance. France ran out comfortable 4-1 winners this evening and will top this qualifying group with ease. With Konate as part of a defensive axis with Adrien Rabiot and Aurélien Tchouameni behind the creative attacking zest of Mbappe, Dembele and the mercurial Griezmann pulling the strings and opening goal-scoring chances for Olivier Giroud, the defending champion should be a real test for anyone as the World Cup progresses. Even Saudi Arabia. And I almost made it through those slightly difficult name pronunciations from our cousins across the English Channel. And without stumbling and bumbling through the 100th take that this has taken, I'm going to leave you with peace and solidarity. And I sincerely thank you for watching this madness of mayhem from an old man sitting in a corner of his room. Thanks for watching.